It took me a long time to understand the phrase, you teach people how to treat you. I used to be the type of person that used to give second, third, fourth, endless chances no matter how many times somebody hurt me. And because I always thought that it wasn't their intention to hurt me, so they deserved forgiveness. What I didn't realize is that most of the toxic people that you do keep around are the ones who will test your boundaries to see how far they can go. To people with more destructive personalities, as long as you accept something that they do, they take it as acceptance that you're okay with who they are and you're okay with them doing it again. You're teaching them to treat you badly and they'll keep pushing further and further. Givers need to learn their limits because takers don't have any. Have you ever blocked yourself from healing because you were scared that if you didn't have the fear and the anger to drive you, you wouldn't have anything else? I, for one, definitely had that moment of doubt where I was terrified to lose that drive because I was starting to lose it. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to be easy. There is going to be a period in your healing journey where, with the loss of that drive from fear, there will be a loss of drive because that was the only drive that you knew and that was the only source that you knew to pull from. Have the faith that once you get past that level of uncertainty, there is a different fuel that comes. The fuel of being respected, the fuel of working for your passions, the fuel of working for what you believe in terms of ethics and culture. One of the beliefs that was taught to me and that I perpetuated for a long time, up until recently, was treat others the way you want to be treated. Almost all of us are educated to think this way, when it's a codependent belief and a manipulative belief that if you treat others the way that you want to be treated, you become entitled to them treating you the same way. Reality of it is that it's not always going to be the case, especially if you forget the actual essential part of that equation, which magically disappeared from the education, is to treat yourself the way you want to be treated. If you're treating others the way you want to be treated at the cost of your boundaries, that's how you will teach others to treat you. If your inner language is negative and you're really hard on yourself, this is how you will teach others to treat you. A lot of quotes have been manipulated to keep us under control. Like another famous one, "Jack of all trades, master of none," which was turned into a quote to shame multitaskers and neurodivergence, when in the past that quote was used to encourage kings and their advisors. And it used to end with, "Jack of all trades, master of none, oftentimes better than master of one." Don't fear your power. Choose guilt over resentment every time. Guilt is selfish, though society will tell you that resentment is better than guilt. It's all a lie. I used to have exactly the same problem, and that is actually one of the biggest reasons why I started looking into whether I had any personality disorders, because I kept worrying that I was a narcissist and I didn't want to become what had abused me the most. When you start thinking that you're too confident, because you start telling yourself, who the hell am I to be confident? But I'm going to challenge you with, who the heck are you not to be confident? Do you know that the chance of you being born as you, where you are, as you are, is only 1 in 400 trillion? Who the heck are you to say that your life is not valuable and that you can waste it by not being confident? Especially if you're going to be born with XX chromosomes, you're going to be damned either way, whether you make yourself small or whether you dare to shine. So you might as well be damned being your best self. As an ex-people pleaser and codependent and heavily abused, I can tell you that I was also one of the first people who, every time I saw I would make somebody insecure because I dared to shine a little bit too brightly, would say, "No, don't shut down your own light for me. I am no one. I'm not worthy to have you shut down over me." But the only thing that ever did was enable the person who felt insecure by telling them that the only way to make others feel better was to make themselves feel smaller if somebody felt insecure. And by not leading by example and showing them that there was another way and a better way to actually raise their vibrations. Don't go down to their level. Show them there is a level above it. be the leader in the change. In all the years that I've made myself smaller for others, I have never ever seen that have a positive change on someone else. I have never ever witnessed me giving up the space I deserve to take mean that they would step into that space automatically, ever. Because their status quo is that if they force somebody to be smaller, then they're automatically bigger than that smaller person, so they don't need to get better or even be better. Though the few times I did actually dare to shine a little bit brighter, I noticed that helped at least one person, and sometimes even two, and sometimes even a group of people, because people won't tell you when when they do. Ask yourself, what if I was confident? What would I do with that confidence? Would I use it to hurt others or to help others? Are you someone who's really hard with themselves? I'll link an old video I made about how your inner critic doesn't come from you. Now, what becomes challenging is as you get older, you end up realizing while you're doing the work that you are your own worst enemy, and you're the one, more often than not, telling yourself these things. So much so that your brain stops completely registering when other people say it to you, or at least not fully registering how often other people are still doing it and how much you're allowing it. So this is a therapy-approved tip that helped me the most to get over this. Since that inner critic didn't come from you, how do you start separating that part from you? Because not all parts need to be integrated. It's by depersonalizing that critic. So here are 3 helpful tips to help you depersonalize that voice from you and help you really anchor the idea that that voice didn't come from you and it doesn't belong within your healed parts. First part is observing the thought without judgment. Learning that this is an outer thought that's telling you that you suck at something or that you can't do something. So this literally goes like, I am having the thought, and try to see if that passes. Try to go through your 3 whys, and I have one pinned video and another Wheel of Emotions video about this. Most of your whys will get down to who told you this first, and second and third, and all of the other times that you allowed it from someone else. Third tip here is to give that inner critic a name to really cement the fact that it's not from you. I named my inner critic Betty. So if I've observed the thought, taken the time to feel it, asked myself my whys, and I know where it's from, but it's still coming back, then I can tell, yeet, Betty, yeet! And if she still comes back, that's where you learn to bring your inner parent to kick ass.